good to see you. I looked at this quote. I'm from West Derby in Liverpool, and I don't know anybody else from my area that's played at a World Cup. It just doesn't happen to lads like me. Well, it's 2 World Cups, hopefully now.
Special, man. What was that before the last World Cup? I said that. Yeah. Still that same feeling, really. It's but I'm sure all the lads have that feeling of, it's not just about you. It's about the people you came up with, your friends, your family, the people around you and like your whole area is what you're representing, your city, your country. You're representing everyone on the biggest stage in them all, and there's nothing prouder than that.
It's 4.5 years since you made your England debut. The game?
Well, Costa Rica at Leeds. That moment that you step on the pitch, and that's the moment you've worked so hard for. It's the moment that no one can ever take away from you. It's that special moment of, there's still a lot of hard work to go, but everything I've done so far for 10, 12 years has led to this moment, the moment you dream of. And that was the moment that, and no one can take that away from you. You've earned yourself, you earn your place.
If you had a word to sum up your England career so far, what would it be?
That's a good question. A word, something for...
What's your feeling?
Feeling is probably the same feeling I had last time I spoke to you. Of not the best football I've ever played. Probably not the worst either. Just somewhere in the middle that is not amazing, not the worst really. It could be a lot better.
But not to the level you expect?
No.
Of yourself?
Yeah, definitely not, no. But I think when you think about it, it's been, I think maybe 17, 18 games now. And I think in the grand scheme of things, that's like half a season, if you're going to put it in that sense. And players have average halves of seasons. Hopefully the second half of the season will be a lot better for me.
With a trophy at the end of it?
That's the aim. That is the aim.
You talked about the devastation of being injured just before the Euros. So how big a goal was it to make this squad?
Massive for me. It was massive. I think that disappointment, the feelings that I felt when missing out on a major tournament for your country is difficult. The first time I've had it, really. It's kind of soon as I started playing, the first major tournament there was, I was there. So I never felt that feeling of disappointment of missing out on squads. I worked hard to get into that Euro squad, and ended up getting myself into the squad, obviously, and then just missing out on something that was hard to take. And again, I've worked really hard to get myself into this squad. So I'm more than happy. I'm over the moon to be here. I've worked hard for this, and I think there's still a long way to go for me.
For Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp, what's your first job? Stop goals or create goals?
I think it's always stop goals, really. I think at club I'm given that freedom to go and create as much as I want, and I'm able to, go and kind of win the game in an attacking sense. But I think every player knows, obviously there's an old saying of, attacks win games, but defence wins championships, and I think you need those clean sheets. You need to prevent goals going in, because you can't win every game 4-3, 5-4. You're looking at your 2-0s, 1-0s that'll win your trophies and win your tournaments, and I think that's especially important when we're seven games away from the biggest prize of them all.
So get the defence right.
Yeah, that's your foundation for any performance.
How well have you defended this season? When you look at your game?
I would say there's been a lot of spotlight on it. I'd say there's been a massive magnifying glass on that aspect of my game. I would say for me, obviously, like any part of my game, I think there's improvements to be made. There's decisions that I could have made better. There's instances where I could have defended a lot better. But I think at the same time, there's been instances where I've defended really well, and that's the way that the game is. People will, I think a lot of people like to shout about the mistakes and the kind of the ones that I could have done better on rather than the ones that I've defended well on, and that's just the way it is. You defend 3 well and then 1 bad, and they have a big chance, and then there it is, I've had a bad defensive game.
Has that focus on your defending been unfair when you weigh it all up compared to other players?
I would say I've gotten used to it. I think over the last 3-4 years I've had a lot of people saying a lot of things about me, good and bad. So I can't now say I don't want that.
But has some of that been over the line, do you think, at times? Across the line?
I wouldn't say across the line because it's people's opinions and everyone's entitled to that. But I think there's been a lot of it. There has been a lot of it. And I think people do like to speak about. I think this is in general in football. People like to kind of speak about what players can't do and what players aren't as good at as other aspects of their game, rather than the good things that they can do, the positives that they bring to teams, the way that they can do things that other players can't. And I think that's part of the game that we kind of sign up to play these days.
When Gary Neville says, I don't think Gareth Southgate will trust Trent in a knockout game at this World Cup, what do you think?
I can only go off the knockout games I've played in, and I think looking back on the ones that I have played in, the big games, the big moments in football, that I've been fortunate to have a lot of them, and I think I've performed and I've stepped up to the plate very well. I've handled that pressure. I like to play with that pressure, and I think for me, the bigger games, the ones that mean the most, they're the ones that bring the best out of me.
Has Gareth Southgate spoken to you about opinions from outside?
No, I don't think that conversation's been needed. I think, for me, I've always thought this and I've always felt it, that there's only 2 opinions that matter to me in football, and that's Gareth Southgate and Jurgen Klopp right now. Anyone else's opinion doesn't matter because they don't get me in or out of teams. They're the ones that pick the teams, and if they're happy with me, then I'm doing something right. If they're not happy, then I'm not doing anything right. And whatever the world says on the outside will not change that.
Gareth Southgate and Jurgen Klopp don't always seem to have the same opinion, though.
That's
when it comes to you.
That is the thing, yeah. That is the thing. But not everyone can have the same opinion. Hopefully, I'm able to do the right things in training. While I'm here, I'm trying to, like I always do. To be honest, I always try my best in training. Try and do the things that I'm good at. Try and improve myself and try and show the qualities that I do have.
What's your target at this World Cup?
Win the World Cup.
Personally?
Wouldn't say I have a personal target. I would say win the World Cup, whether I'm starting every game, coming off the bench every game, whether I play a minute or not. If I leave Qatar with a medal around my neck, that's gold, and there's a trophy floating around the team, then I'll be more than happy.
Not bad for the lad from West Derby.
Not bad at all, not bad at all.
What can you be for England?
Game winner, I think. Someone that can win games, someone that can win trophies, someone I think that knows how to win big games and knows how to win, the biggest tournaments out there. So I think even as a, probably not a young player anymore, but I think I've got a lot of experience in big games under my belt that, is valuable in tournaments like this.